China's elderly leaders are still locked in a power struggle over martial law tonight, while the young are sharpening their attacks on the premier. Pro-democracy demonstrators by the hundreds of thousands kept up the pressure in Beijing's main square. Over loudspeakers, they branded Premier Li Peng's China's Hitler. But the tension is diminishing as reports circulate that ruling conservatives may be losing ground to moderates who oppose calling out the People's Army to suppress the protests. Even a heavy downpour couldn't dampen the spirits of the people in the square. They huddled together and sang the Communist national anthem. Today, the head of the Chinese People's Congress cut short a visit to the United States to head back to Beijing.
Well, the crowded race for mayor of New York City got even a bit more crowded today. City Controller Harrison Golden launched his campaign. He made the announcement in his Upper East Side apartment, surrounded by his family. Golden is way behind in the polls, but he says voters will realize he has the experience to make the city livable once again.
That they want to be. There is a common yearning among the people of New York that cuts across class and racial and economic and ethnic lines. They want a city that works. They want a city that's livable. They want to elect a mayor who has common sense and knows how to get the job done.
Golden's going to run in the Democratic primary against Mayor Koch, Manhattan Borough President David Dinkins, and Richard Ravitch.
Headaches. Millions of Americans suffer from them, and for some there is just a temporary cure for the pain. It can return time after time. Al Roker continues his special report on headaches. Tonight, a look at the cause and the search for cures.
Headaches are among the top 5 most common pain complaints doctors hear about these days. And among all medical maladies, it ranks right up there as one of the most misunderstood. When it comes to the common headache, usually an aspirin or aspirin substitute will do the trick. And when it comes to talking to your doctor, usually he can treat that kind of headache. But when it comes to the more serious, recurring, painful headache, that's when general practitioners seem to be out of their league. In fact, most can't treat or diagnose that serious type of headache.
Many patients have said to us, I wish I could bleed, or I wish I could show a broken leg for doctors to understand how much pain I'm in.
Today's more sophisticated equipment allow doctors to rule out the possibility of organic brain disorders like meningitis, aneurysms, or brain tumors. But the actual cause of headache is still under discussion. But some specialists agree that if you're a headache sufferer, you probably were born with it.
Headaches basically are a biological disorder. People have to have a biological predisposition for chronic headache disorders. Once that biology is there, there are many factors that can trigger those headaches.
Ben Pliwak is 13 years old. He suffers from childhood migraine. What he's looking at is a picture of the heat patterns on his face in a procedure called facial thermography. Doctors now believe migraine sufferers have a higher heat level on the side of the face affected by the migraine. They also believe migraines can be hereditary. If one of your parents has a migraine, there's a 50% chance of you getting them too. Ben's case is classic. His mother, Fran, gets migraines as well.
I can usually just maybe twice a year go to bed for the day, and that takes care of it. But I know he's gotten it from me. It didn't seem like it was like that big of a problem. And then when I started throwing up from them, and
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Patients with migraine are very sensitive to changes of any kind in their environment. Undersleeping, oversleeping, changes in weather, changes in time zones when one travels are all factors that people can be sensitive to. So, for example, we may tell people to get up at the same time every day, not to skip meals, things of that sort may be helpful.
If you have frequent headaches, and some of them severe, beware of taking too many non-prescription pain relievers. You could actually be making your headaches worse. Overuse of these remedies can cause headaches. The simple rule of thumb is, if your headaches are interfering with your life, see a doctor. And remember,
the natural history of headaches is as individual as your fingerprints.
tomorrow night we'll tell you about some of the latest treatments and the cures for headaches.
All right, Al, thank you. Coming up, the subject of tonight's NBC miniseries, the real Stephen Stainer talks about his embarrassment over the kidnapping ordeal.
And Len Berman with sports. Rick Pitino answers new charges that he broke some rules. And the Red Hot Bulls battle the Pistons in Detroit.